Welcome back to
Stop.
yeah.
You are not driving this show.
Landon's
you are listening to the
driving
Geek
this
Show
week.
Help Desk. Tony, don't stop my parade. This is my
tried.
show tonight. I'm
Sorry,
doing the
guys.
thing.
I tried.
Welcome to the Geek Show Help Desk.
We talk about tech, science, and gadget-related news. But let's be honest. You don't come here for that. You come here for us and how cool we are, and mainly when we poke fun of each other.
It's more like gouging at times, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, not a poke.
Sometimes
It's a
full on
gouge.
Yeah, it's gonna
sometimes
come here in
full
a
on
second.
disemboweling.
We could rename to the gouge it spot.
Oh, boom.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's really good, actually.
for those who know our old name.
Yep.
Yes.
Now let's introduce our panel of awesome people. Let's start with Jaren.
Hey, this is me. I'm Jaren. You can find me on Twitter at Jaren and Geek Show Arcade as well.
Awesome, thank you. I want to take a quick note that I did not gouge you at this moment. I could have, and you
No,
did,
you
but
are
I did not.
You are the better man. Well
Thank you.
done.
Let's talk to Owen. He's got the most tech cred.
Yep, down here, gouge-free corner. Safe place for anybody. Find me here. I'm a little under the weather, so you're not going to get my sultry radio voice today, but
This is
follow me on Twitter at
your
TechNoan.
Your breathy,
This is like
That's
hey,
even more sultry.
raspy
in my
voice,
opinion.
yeah.
Like that.
I think it's better.
hey, follow
And
me
we have
anywhere.
we have a former host, Tony.
I bequeathed my hosting duties and then tried to take them back at the last second when the show started, but it was too late.
Nope.
Check me out on Twitter at QuadTTony or on the other Geek Show, many of the other Geek Show podcasts. And we have hosting today, Lando.
Today or forever.
One day only.
Today.
Owen's going to do it next week.
Yeah,
What? No.
Owen's up next week.
What?
1,000%. You should do it next week, Owen.
I opted out. I said I'm good. I had no qualms.
Nope. It
shoulda-
was opt-in.
You should have showed up to the caucus.
by
It
default.
already got voted through. Sorry,
I did.
bud.
Dang it.
Yeah. So my name's Lando. I'm here. I'm the host, and I'm the best. That's all I have to say.
Let him
Jaren,
have
do we
it.
have any emails?
No emails, but if you do want to email us, you can email us at geekshowhelpdesk@gmail.com.
Thank you. All right, let's get into it for this week. We got a lot of good stuff for you coming at you. The thing that excites me the most is the new Apple news.
This,
There was
I mean,
Apple News?
Nobody's surprised about
No surprise at all. We're getting the boring stuff out of the way first.
This is how Apple should talk about a lot of their products, though. Just
Here's this.
publicity blast, email blast to the big, outlets, and put it up on the website.
Yeah.
Especially
Like-
for stuff like this.
Yeah, spec bumps.
Yeah,
Don't have an event. Just put it out
We don't
there.
need any.
So
we
good-
don't need
good on-
prayer hands for that.
yeah. Good on them for that. This time.
And
What did they do, Tony?
Well, they just
They spec
basic-
bumped.
They basically dropped the M3 processor into the MacBook Air 13 and Air 15. This is
Those are just essentially MacBook Pros at this point, right?
well,
besides the weight.
that's the thing is it blurs the line quite a bit.
Yeah.
The screen, not nearly
Yeah,
as
okay.
good.
The biggest difference is going to be the screen and just the raw number of cores and on the CPU and on the GPU.
Well,
so,
you can get a MacBook Pro, though, with just the normal M3.
Oh, you can get the 14 with the normal M3. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You can't get a 16. So with the M3 in the Air 13 and the Air 15, you get 4 performance cores, 4 efficiency cores, and I want to say 12 GPU cores. Let me scroll down here.
Scrolly.
Just to make sure. And they, in classic Apple fashion, they don't have specs ready.
They won't have specs on their own.
viewable on there.
No.
10-core CPU.
The only thing they make
Thanks,
no,
Jared.
it's
GPU.
It's an 8-core. Yeah,
8-core
okay.
CPU, 10-core GPU.
10-core GPU. But they do make sure and manage to plug their neural engine. That's 16 cores. You can find that information very easily.
What does
because
that mean for the normal person
It means
today?
nothing.
Right.
So, but all of that is to say that the M3 is actually a fairly decent jump over the M2. We're talking like around 20% on the CPU and 40% on the GPU. So yeah, look, even if you don't like Apple, I think that for your average user, this is still the perfect laptop.
It stayed the same
right?
price, right?
Yeah, the price is staying the same. And then if you want
Same
to,
amount of RAM though.
that is stupid. Don't ever buy 8 gigs of RAM in a laptop, everybody. Please
I
get the 16
I
gig
think
model.
for most users on this machine, it's fine. I have no problem with this for most people, right?
I
Us tech
disagree.
people, not okay. But
Nope.
for my mom and dad, if they want a new computer or laptop,
See-
this will browse the web. It'll do the emails.
How
They'll
good
watch
are they
the
at closing
YouTubes, it's fine.
tabs?
Yeah, they'll have hundreds of tabs open. They
good are
need
they?
the RAM.
Even still, it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
No. I think 16 should be the baseline.
That will be better for sure, but I'm not upset about it yet. If we're still having this conversation next year,
We
okay,
will.
fine.
No, we will. I'm
yeah.
pretty sure. I would be
I
surprised.
know.
Or
I'm
they
trying to
might
have
do like
faith.
they might do like a little incremental, like 12 gigs of RAM. You know, some sort of
12.
12 is
that's on the
right
edge
on the border
of
12
being
is- yeah.
okay. Maybe that's okay. Maybe.
So you can get
I'm
it with 8, 16, or 24 on the Airs.
I'm
And,
still with the tight integration between the hardware and the software. I'm still okay with 8 for the moment.
I'm
Have
not.
you ever used a computer with 8 gigs of RAM in the last 5-10 years?
My parents have a Mac Mini or a Mac Mini with 8 gigs of RAM, and it's fine.
Have you ever
you used
No,
have you ever run into being memory bound or CPU bound though?
me no.
Okay.
It's the
That
worst.
when you do it, you will never want it again because there's no fixing it. There's nothing like you have to either close stuff and that
That's
you're
fair.
using. Like it's kind of something that once you experience it, you hate it so much more.
Yeah.
So
But anyway, they're the same prices as they were before. As a result, the M2 is now $100 cheaper if you want to
on.
go with the Air M2, which is still a great
still
a great
fantastic.
choice.
laptop.
I would do the M2 with more RAM.
Yep.
If you had to
personally.
choose, yeah.
Traded in, yeah.
Yep.
These kind of laptops are absolutely wonderful for your average user. Anyone that's not going to be doing heavy video editing or
students and stuff like
or
great-
photography editing, yeah.
One
this
the
is-
battery life alone.
that's the thing.
I don't take my charger with me anywhere anymore because
That's
I've
the
never
one-
used it.
So I got rid of my MacBook. Well, I'm still trying to get rid of it, but went to a gaming laptop about a month ago. Went back to a gaming laptop, and that is by far the thing I miss the most is the battery life.
For me, it's the heat. I put the
Oh, the
gaming
heat's-
laptop
yeah,
on.
that's
I
true.
recently got one too. Surprise, surprise. Tony gets something and I get something. I
how it
put it
usually
on my
works with
lap.
us.
I'm like, dang, this thing gets hot because I've been
Yeah.
used to the MacBook for
You
work
gotta have that cooling
for
pad.
years now. Yeah,
Which one did you guys get? Or did you guys get the same model?
same model.
Of course.
Well, no, Jaron
of
went with
course.
the more expensive one that has the mini LED screen, and I went with the regular.
It's the same model minus the screen.
Is it the
Yep.
G16?
No,
No,
that was.
no.
I desired it, but ultimately it
I
was too
desire
expensive for me, and I went down the performance rabbit hole.
Just
and
doesn't hold up compared to
Yeah.
the full size
Yeah.
laptops performance wise.
Yeah.
We got Acer Predator Helios 16s.
Oh yeah, those Helios ones are pretty good.
So I've been very happy with the performance.
All right, and let's talk about the same thing we've talked about, 5 times now. The side loading, Tony. Since we're on the Apple subject,
it's here. We're here. We made it, guys. 17.4
We've talked
side
about
loading
this
is
10
out.
times.
It's out.
It's the same dumb
it's
story.
It's not out unless you're in Europe. Sorry, false alarm. Still can't side load here in
VPN?
America or anywhere else.
Are they tracking hardware like IME numbers?
I really
Like,
want to know how they're tracking.
Guarantee
Yeah.
they are. It's the yeah.
We don't
those
know
it's
how
numbers.
they're
gonna be
doing it
region,
for
the
sure.
region code, like a region code on the board.
But
Maybe
what if
100%.
you're a EU citizen, happen to buy your phone here, take it back?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so they'll probably just say, "Sorry, Charlie,
Yeah, probably.
buy one from your Apple store in UK."
Just one of you guys with an iPhone, get a VPN and try it out.
I have a VPN. I can try it out.
Connect over to Europe and see if you get to sideload something.
How would I know?
There you go.
Yeah.
So Jaron
Well,
or Tony
they made
that
side
knows how to
loading
do
so
it.
they made side loading so janky on it that I don't even know how many people actually made their stuff available to side load. But
Yeah, how do you?
Yeah,
Are there tutorials on how to do it? It's pretty new for Apple. So
I don't think there's even any third-party stores yet because it's still
right.
pretty early.
Sure,
and
there's
well, I would
you
assume
can only
could still
side
download the APK. Like
No, you can't. You can only download stores, which will then distribute.
so it's not
the
even
app.
real side loading.
so, you got to go get like
It's just
like-
more stores.
You got to go get like Amazon's App Store. You know,
If they make one.
Yeah, the only.
The Kindle
At this
apps,
point,
so
I think
those
the only
one-
one that's confirmed that they're making a store is Epic, so they could distribute Fortnite.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's going to have exactly one app.
Yeah, it
And
will
they'll make
Yep.
millions.
All right, let's stick in the mobile vein of things. Let's talk about Android apps and Windows.
This was a feature that was released on Windows a couple years ago. It's the Android subsystem for Windows. Basically, you can install Android apps on your Windows device. And in theory, that sounds really cool because on macOS, you can install iPad apps, iPhone apps. But how many of you out there have ever installed an iPhone app or iPad app on macOS?
Nope.
I
Oh,
have-
Lando. On
Yeah, well-
purpose?
Yeah, I didn't. I installed the Jira app. That's about it.
Okay, all right.
Work
Because I want a
stuff.
native
All right.
app for
Yeah.
Jira.
Yeah,
It's not great.
Every time I've wanted a native app, I've gone to the Mac App Store, and the developers have not made it available. So it's not great. Anyway, so Microsoft offered this, but they are pulling support starting in 2025.
I would like to see the numbers behind this.
Was
how many
this
people
Yeah, me
actually
too.
took
Was
advantage
this
of it.
their WSL Linux? Like
No,
W-
no,
And
this
that's
is
still
this-
that's still
this is
there.
different.
My
Okay.
question is it gonna affect the WSL? Because the WSL is actually
Yeah, it's
great.
Linux. It's baked in. So
I don't
Well,
think so.
Linux
This,
is separate from Android,
Sure.
so I don't think
barely.
it.
They're both Linux, right?
it
Yeah,
used the Amazon App Store to download apps. So it was a cool idea. I really liked the concept. Just seems like
Never
people,
ended up using it.
yeah, people use the web
Personally.
instead.
Yeah.
Bummer. All right, Owen, sticking on the mobile theme. We got a heavy theme here tonight. Going with the TikToks.
TikTok is getting is potentially going to get an ultimatum. So
From who?
from the U.S. government, there's a bill that's been introduced. So ByteDance, the Chinese company, and you heard the stories that broke out where it was embarrassing to have our lawmakers talking about TikTok. That was super embarrassing.
Not just
if
TikTok,
you watch,
just in
but
general.
the internet in general, just
Having them talk about technology in general
Like,
was
literally-
just painful.
like this is not fake. There was a guy that was asking the guy to go on record and telling us that their algorithm doesn't watch our pupils dilate to confirm whether or not we find interest in a video, and if TikTok has access to the internet.
To our Wi-Fi.
To our Wi-Fi, right? So it was embarrassing for sure. But one of the reasons is because the parent company of TikTok is ByteDance, which is a Chinese-owned company. There was a story that broke that there were some reporters that were doing stories on Chinese leadership, and some of the data from their TikTok account apparently made its way to the Chinese government. That's alleged,
What?
but that's the story.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. And that's what started, was kind of the impetus of this. And so America, obviously TikTok is huge, huge. And so everybody, especially the Biden administration, is pressuring TikTok or ByteDance to sell TikTok off so that it's not a Chinese
Yeah,
subsidiary.
Right. That's
And
not going to happen.
I mean, they're making so much money, and not only the more valuable thing that they're getting is the data.
Yeah,
right?
I'll bet they're not making a dime with the expenses
they've-
of keeping it up and everything.
Yeah,
I doubt they're turning a profit, but the data they're getting
the
from
data
it.
they're mining, and also they've started the TikTok shop. A lot more in there now. They
Yep.
take a piece of that.
Well,
And,
I'll
you
tell
know-
you what, though, in my TikTok, I feel like every other freaking post is a sponsored post or a
yep.
TikTok shop post.
Yep.
Maybe they
And
are
it's
making
almost
money
making
now.
it
How can you go back?
awful.
That's what I've seen the most is how do we turn off TikTok shop?
Yeah.
I hate it. So they're introducing a bill that would force ByteDance to sell TikTok in order to remain available in the U.S. And it's called Protecting Americans from Foreign Adversary Controlled Applications Act.
Well, then they need to start doing that to a lot of other apps, too, because
Yeah.
I'm sure TikTok's not the only one, right?
You gotta,
Here's the
you gotta
issue.
go after Temu. You got to go after
Yeah.
AliExpress.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
go after.
Not AliExpress. I just discovered it.
Not my team.
So
Well,
So
you can,
here's
you
the
can still
thing.
access it on your browser, just not app form.
So here's the thing: they're just going to the law would just prohibit app stores from distributing it,
Yep.
but Android lets you sideload, so it really only affects Apple, right?
Well,
like you could get this and sideload it on.
Yes and no. Yes, in that you're right, but no, in that your average Android user probably doesn't know how to sideload.
I guarantee you that as soon as it became cut off, that would
They'll
go up.
figure it out.
Like popularity would be like right now. There's no need to know that, but as soon as they take it out of the App Store, there's going to be a download and install button to just get the APK and install it on your Android device.
Sounds like,
But yeah,
sounds like we need to make a tutorial video. On
Yeah,
how to
right
sideload
now, right?
Right
Yeah.
now, so that it's up there and gets into the algorithm
Gets-
when this happens,
right,
and then we can
that's
get
right.
some more YouTube views.
That's a phenomenal idea, Tony. You should do that.
Just
It
thinking
kind
ahead.
of they're also trying to get TikTok to commit to giving people provide users with a copy of their data in a format that can be imported into competing apps. What apps compete with TikTok?
Well, Instagram,
Maybe.
with Instagram stories.
I feel like
Yes.
Instagram's
Facebook, Reels.
way more curated and
Yeah.
censored than TikTok is.
Yeah. But there's one more thing. Oh,
X.
yeah.
That doesn't count.
There's
don't want it to,
one more
but-
one more part of this is that this proposed ban, this bill, has reignited the Texas project. This is pretty common with the EU companies where the GDPR, what's that?
There it is.
GDPR, yeah. The privacy laws in Europe are a lot stricter,
Yep.
and they literally, like Germany, you have to store your data in Germany, and so like if you do business there, we had to spin up an Azure instance in Germany's data warehouse, and so Project Texas is kind of the same idea, where all TikTok data would be housed in Texas and siloed / firewalled off from the parent company ByteDance, but
How would you enforce that firewall? Like
How would-
you have to have
how would
someone
you
go in there and audit
prove-
it?
how would you prove that data hasn't been taken? Like the last time it happened,
Well-
allegedly, they just had a TikTok employee pull the information from them for those reporters that got outed. So,
Yeah.
like, anyway, so I don't know. Under the plan, they basically house all the data here and ACLU and a couple are the ACLU and I think there's one other. Anyway, they're all upset, saying this is a First Amendment issue that the U.S. is crushing free speech, and TikTok agrees with that. They said that this measure is unconstitutional just because the bill sponsors a claim that banning TikTok isn't about suppressing speech. There's no denying that it would do that. So,
When did free speech suppression become an issue of private companies' platforms?
yeah.
Bingo.
When
1000%.
did free
You know what I
speech
mean?
become required on a platform? Like
Exactly.
if you have free speech, go get a box and stand on the street and say what you want.
There's your free speech. You
Or
know?
Well, not only
your-
that, but it's important to
Make
remember
your
that
own
free
blog
speech,
on the internet.
Yeah,
Right?
make your own
free
blog.
speech does not mean free from consequence, right? You can
Also
say all the crap you
true.
want,
Also true.
but there's going to be repercussions for what
Like
you
there's
say.
no I mean, is there a requirement to provide a platform to do that? That's
Not
where
according to the First Amendment, right?
That's the thing. And that's why, I mean, back before we had social media and even, if you want to say pre-internet days, nobody complained about, that's not true, nobody, but I mean, you didn't have nearly as much like
You didn't hear about it,
average
at
Joe
least.
Schmo complaining about free speech because, or free speech with things like the newspapers and things like that, because you had to have money to put your ads in the newspapers and get published in books, to publish your own stuff
Yeah.
and things like that.
arguably some pretty big things have come out that could have only come out on platforms like that, like some of the phone, like the
Right.
Patriot Act with some of the phone, data collection stuff that our country was doing to ourselves that normally could have been suppressed very easily. Because only 20 people in a small community would have known about it. So I see where they're saying that a platform is required to make free speech more available so that it gets out there. But at the same time, I
But,
see the other side of the argument.
Exactly. I'm not saying that I'm not siding with ByteDance, here
Right.
at all. But, you know, when you build a platform and you police your own platform, unless there are government regulations in place, it's your platform, it's your rules, you know,
Yep.
unless you're breaking a law that is applicable, you know, such as, you know, human trafficking and stuff like that or whatever, information, you know, child porn, stuff like that, then obviously there's going to be consequences on the platform enforced by the government. But when it comes down to like First Amendment rights and things like that, it's a privately owned platform.
Yep.
They're not beholden to things like the First Amendment, you know?
Yep.
It's just, that's
America.
It's not how it works.
Like,
It's not how it works.
Like Elon Musk says, leave it to the American people. They'll be the ones to judge you.
That'd be like saying you have to allow me to hang a sign for a political opponent on the wall of the exterior of your house because that's free speech.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent here.
Yeah, it is the equivalent.
You know, I built this platform, but you have to let me use it how I want to, and you
It's
can't
right next to
stop
a really
me
good
from doing
road.
it.
So
Yeah,
it's
so
you know,
I'm
so
going
I
to
have to use
exercise
it.
my free speech, and I'm going to hang a sign on your wall because of free speech.
That's sort of that actually happens here. I've had friends have political signs put on their chain link fence in their front yard, unrequested.
Yeah,
And
They take them
there's
off, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
but also there's a big difference between on the chain link fence of your perimeter,
True.
and access to the
Barely.
wall of your house.
I mean, it's
You know what
still
mean?
your
It's
land, you
easier
know?
to get to, and
You're right.
it's
It's not
harder
as
to
offensive.
police. You know. So anyway,
But then again,
sorry,
if
rant over.
if ByteDance is the only one saying they're not going to do it, we promise we're not doing that. Like, how are they policing it? You know, we're definitely not stealing your data. Using your
They're
data.
like Google, right? They're of
we
course using our
promise.
data.
Scouts,
But I
honor.
guarantee they're not using it for nefarious. I mean, they might be using it for nefarious purposes. But
It's
it's
just
more
like-
likely they're using it to make money, right?
exactly.
You're the product.
Well, and
Just like
you know,
Google.
That's what Google's difference is. They have a financial motive to do this, whereas the Chinese government being a pretty adversarial government to our own, you know, they have much different motives. So I can see I can see how it's different. Google being an American company and whatever, we can restrict them. Like if ByteDance takes all of our TikTok data and we never know about it, even if we do know about it, what can we do to the Chinese government? Like put on
Yeah,
sanctions.
that's where it gets extra hairy. Is when
We-
you're talking
we-
about
yeah,
you're
we
talking
can't sanction
about
them.
Exactly, stuff that doesn't even come from
Our
within
economies
our
are too
country.
Our economies
know?
are too entangled as far as the supply chain goes to sanction China.
Well, we've had some sanctions.
Yeah,
and,
just it screwed up. It
made
screwed up
things
the economy
a lot harder
lot.
for your
Yeah.
average person.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Bad news bears. All right, let's keep things moving. Let's talk about trash cans.
Oh my gosh, I found
What a segue.
Jaron, this is for you, bud, right here.
Hmm.
If Dyson ever decided to make a trash can, it would look like this. This is the Mills $999 high-tech
Hmm.
waste bin.
Oh, I'm interested.
How much?
Why
Did
is
you
it-
say $900?
Why is it cool?
So basically, it's a in-home composter for your organic garbage. And
Pass. Too much work.
In home? Yeah.
yeah, like
Is it going to stink? I mean, for
It's-
$1,000, it better darn well not stink.
yeah, it's supposed to be all sealed and everything. And this is the second version of it. The first version,
Why would you want a composter inside your house?
because then you don't have rats running through the one outside. That's just an open
Then
pile.
you'll just get rats inside.
This
No,
one's
it's
sealed.
supposed to prevent that. It's sealed.
And
so
it's white.
supposedly this breaks the organic compounds down to the point where it can be used for chicken feed or like
Compost for your garden.
fertilize. Yeah, compost for your garden. So
Wait, there's a subscription?
yeah, the first one, the only way to get rid of the stuff other than just throwing it away, which you would have done anyway.
Well, yeah.
Why add the extra step of having it sit in compost?
So you had to pay them
They,
To come-
to send that
compost,
compost to their facility
wherein they got to resell it again.
as chicken feed.
So they're triple dipping.
Yeah.
Like you buy the garbage can, you pay a subscription to have
Who
them take it
invested
away.
in this company?
Well, let me tell
then they get to resell your compost
Yep.
for 100% profit.
Yep. after you paid for them to take.
Oh
away.
my gosh!
So you're
this is,
buying.
Tim. This has got to be
what
Apple,
are you?
right?
What are you buying here? Like good feelings? Is that it?
That was the first version of it. That's really what it felt like. This was one of the co-founders of this was. Oh no, sorry. This was
Matt
his
Rogers?
project. Matt Rogers, one of the
Yeah.
Nest co-founders. So
Before
basically,
Nest got crappy.
it just before Google
Yeah.
got its claws in it. So basically, it just takes the food, grinds it down, dries it out, and sets it up to be organically recycled or whatever. Now the thing about the second generation one is it actually does it in 2.5 hours versus 10 hours.
10
from
hours.
Before. That's what it took before.
Ugh.
And it can do 40 pounds of scraps before you need to empty it. So you can fit a lot of
That's
organic
decent.
food in there. Yeah. Or not organic food, but organic.
You just have to
compost.
pay a monthly
Wait.
fee for a garbage
Yeah,
can.
this
like,
is for this
They
is
got
for
rid of the
people-
monthly fee on this one if you don't want to use it anymore because it does a better job of processing it so you can just take it straight out to your garden.
Yeah.
So
that's fine. Yeah, 'cause,
This
I
is
mean,
for people without
everything's
kids, though, for sure.
subscriptions.
I would get plastic forks or cups or like styrofoam and whatever in this thing. The kids would be like, "I just put it in there. I dumped
Yep.
a soda in there."
Thanks, kids.
So the previous prescription was $33 a month.
8 out of 10 kids.
Yeah.
And then the new prescription, if you want to still keep sending it to them, is let's see, you can and it includes if you don't want to pay for the trash can up front, it's $30 a month if you pay annually, or $50 if you pay monthly.
They got this backwards. They should be paying you.
You would think.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They should be buying your
Now-
compost.
Now, if you want to buy it and just ship the detritus
Detritus. Yeah.
off to them yourself, it's only $10 a month to ship it now if you buy the can outright.
They should be paying me $10 a month to do that for them.
Yeah. So
Because then they
anyway,
resell it, right? They've got to be reselling it on their
Yeah,
end.
they've partnered with local farms.
Yeah.
By their,
Oh my
by their
gosh.
place of composting, their
good.
compost factory. I don't know what you call it.
Well,
Anyway,
I was hoping for
When-
some cool high-tech trash can
when
here.
philanthropy
the
goes
whole-
too far.
The whole point of this is to try and cut down on food waste going to landfills. That's the whole point of this project.
which is admirable.
Which is an admirable
Is it though?
goal.
Because
Is it?
food waste is the part that actually biodegrades in the
Yeah.
trash.
And
heap.
also,
but
at
it doesn't do
$1,000,
very
the
well if it's trapped inside plastic, Darren.
If you
at
have
$1,000, the barrier of entry is too high for
Oh, it
most
is, for
people
sure.
that use this. That would
think
use
of
this.
if you were buying this for the intent of I'm going to use it to compost my garden. How long would you have to run
Oh.
it to make back that $1,000 in fertilizer costs?
Let me tell you, I
couple
Side-
of years,
40
five-
years?
5
Yeah.
years, 10 years.
Yep, small side
More.
story.
Lot
I
more
created
than
I used pallets and created a compost pile this last summer, and I filled it to the top of a pallet. So like you're thinking 3.5 feet tall,
yeah.
right? 3 by think of that in cubic feet, and I got a third of that in actual usable compost after everything was done.
Because it breaks
broke
down,
down.
yeah.
Yeah. So like, can you imagine how much
Did you have a
food
mouse
waste?
problem in there though?
No mouse problem.
That's good.
We did, you know what? We did get one rat, and my dog rapidly took care of that problem.
Nice.
Ate about.
Good dog.
Yeah.
Good doggo.
So there you
that.
go. If you want to spend $1,000 on a food waste prevention process, special can that does it for you, it's there.
There you
want
go.
For
There's a-
$1,000.
There's
I
a
don't
thing for
want
that.
this, Tony.
I
I'm
like-
offended you thought I'd want this.
Well, see, it's just the high tech and supposed like futuristic thinking nature of it. It screams Dyson. You know, like their headphones with an air filter that doesn't actually filter your air, or a hair dryer that costs
Just a Bane mask. It's just a Bane
costs
mask.
8 times the amount of a regular hair dryer and does the same job. Things like that. You know, Dyson.
Dyson.
All
You
right,
don't
I
have to
a-
pay this much.
I have a
you will.
question for you guys. When was the last time you thought about humans having tails?
Today when I saw this article on
Yeah,
the
me too.
show notes.
This was actually pretty interesting. So researchers have identified a unique DNA mutation in the TBXT gene, because we all know what that is, right? that are responsible for humans losing their tails over 25 million years ago.
If
About the
we-
same time that apes lost their tails and diverged from monkeys. Because
If
monkeys still have tails. But
If we know
do
what the
not.
gene is, can we flip it so we can get
Can I
tails
get
back?
a head? Can
Oh,
I get
yeah.
a tail back?
That is
we
an
can-
interesting question,
We
Jared.
can CRISPR that.
They actually did that with experiments in mice. So they did this in mice, and mice would actually lose their tails or have very short tails with the same mutation. And interestingly, the tailless mice actually showed higher rates of spina bifida. An evolutionary
Really?
trade-off, if you will.
Never mind. I just imagined a human with a tail, and
So when you asked
that's what I wanted,
when's the
yes.
last time you thought of humans with a tail, it was instantly taken to that movie Shallow Hal. Did you guys ever see that?
with Jason
With
Alexander.
With Alexander,
Yeah.
and he like
Digital
shows
tail.
him the tail. It's like one of the. That's a sleeper. You got to go see that movie. It's a good one.
So the last interesting part about this article that I really liked and enjoyed was the fact that we lost our tail is what led us to being bipedal and walking upright, which I thought was also very cool. They now can confirm that through this evolutionary discovery that scientists have made.
Just imagine a too fleshy tail.
Oh,
Sticking out of the back of your
right.
pants.
Yeah.
Because there's
Would it be
another gene
hairy?
that made.
Would it
Yeah,
be
no. There's
hairy
another
or
gene that we.
just
Yeah.
It would be
another-
hairy like a monkey.
No,
So
it'd be
another-
like
yeah, it
leg
would be-
hairy
Yeah.
with a lot of
Leg
flesh
hairy.
underneath. Yeah.
Because
That
we
could-
lost the gene. We had the gene switched off that gives us full on body hair all over, and so we would just get this like skin fleshy leg hair
Like
Yeah.
a rat tail.
tail. Yeah.
Would we have like a
Yeah.
little tuft of hair
That-
at the end, or would it
and
be
that-
like
It would and it would-
pubic-y?
Exactly.
Oh,
It wouldn't
no.
grow in. It wouldn't
This has
grow in
gotten
until
so
you
bad.
hit puberty, and then all of a sudden it would puff out at the end.
It would puff out, and it would be all the rage for social media influencers to show off their tail puff.
Yeah.
We'd have to
Yeah.
put holes in all of our chairs.
Yeah.
The worst part is that this would all just be normal if we still
Yeah,
had
we wouldn't
tails.
even think about it because it's just how it's always been.
Like, would the tail become sexy? Like, ooh, check out her tail.
What kind of nerves would that be connected to?
It could if you're watching Avatar.
Are we-
That's
I
how
was gonna
they
say
get,
we're getting pretty close to
busy
Avatar.
there, you know.
It's also how they control animals.
Imagine trying to put sunscreen on your tail. That'd be a
Tail
nightmare.
mingler.
This has been this is
a lot of
this,
strokes.
this story has brought all the entertainment I could have hoped for and then some.
Imagine
This is
when
exactly what I was
imagine
hoping
when
for.
the gene starts to reintroduce, and there's this weird middle ground of the tailless and the tailed. And
Oh,
if you want
he
to be
doesn't have
and
a
it-
tail.
and if you want to try to fit in to go to Subway, that's a tail free zone, because that would happen again. We'd be segregated. You'd have to like tuck it into your pants,
The tail
and
tuck.
they'd be like, you tuck and tail, huh? Like tuck and tail would have a whole anyway.
If I could grab things with my tail and like
That's what I mean.
have it be
I wanna-
super long and feed myself with my tail while my hands played games or
I
something.
want
Yeah,
a
or
prehensile
imagine-
tail. That's
yeah.
what I want.
Imagine the gaming industry, like having another
know.
appendage, dude. You'd have a whole nother mouse you could use.
You could scratch anywhere on your body without having to move your hands.
I'm up. I'm here for this. Turn it on.
Yep.
I'll take the risk.
See, you guys are all
the
naysaying
gene.
this. I think it's a great idea.
I'm
Think
in
of
the
the
bad idea camp.
possibilities.
I
think
do
it's
not want one.
Firmly in the body horror area for
Well,
me.
naturally. But it would be so useful.
Tony says, "Sign me up." All right, Tony, I want to hear about your new 3D printer. This thing sounds pretty sweet.
Oh, baby. So, back in October or November, I ordered a K1 Max from Matter Hackers. And I knew it was a pre-order because it was sold out everywhere. So, I knew I was ordering one that was going to be on a ship from Creality in China soon. And I finally got it 2 months later. And I have been printing like crazy ever since I got that. So, as you might know, I currently still have the old 3D printer, the Creality Ender 3
Ender.
S1 Pro. And I just never could get that thing to do what I wanted it to do consistently. And so I basically stopped 3D printing for a while. And then I saw the sale on this one. So normally these are $900 or $950, and I got it on sale for like $725 around mid-November. And let me show you the difference in the quality here. So I'll zoom this in a little bit. So here is something I printed on the old one.
Use your
And
words, Tony.
Those are the infinite.
Yeah, what are you showing us right now?
This
One of those infinite cubes.
This is one of those fidget cubes that just folds in on itself continuously forever and ever as you play with it, and you can hear it. It's kind of rattly.
The tolerances aren't great, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, the tolerances aren't great. You can see the you can't really see it well from this camera, but you can clearly make out the different layer lines, and the edges aren't clean, things like that. And then here's one that I printed on my new printer, and this is what it sounds like when I shake it.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
And
Shake it.
it is
Still pretty loose. It's not tight.
It's not tight. The tolerances on it are much, much higher, and I probably could have dialed that in if I wanted to on the Ender or chose a different model, but with this one, I didn't have to do any of that. I just downloaded the file, chose a print quality, and told it
Is
to
it
go.
faster?
Oh, it is 5 times faster.
Oh yeah, that's all I care. Like that's my main thing with this.
This poopy one took. I want to say this was like a 3.5 or 4 hour print. This guy printed in an hour and a half.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and it might have been an hour and 45 minutes. Anyway,
Even
the point
still,
is,
that's way faster.
it's way, way, way faster. So that's an example of one of the fidget cubes that I do that I enjoy playing with. This is a little robot guy.
He's so cute.
I got him to work without breaking his legs
Yep,
off.
yep. I finally got him to work with that. Everything moves like it
Snapping his legs
should.
off.
Was he a print in place?
Yeah, I didn't put this together at all. It printed,
Wow.
and I just started moving it, and broke the little. It touches a teeny bit when it prints, so it stays.
Sure, that's how the print in
in
place
place
stuff works.
Yeah, exactly. But now, the quality is just
It
fantastic.
looks smooth. Yeah, it looks really smooth.
And then one step further, my buddy Lee George Cade from the Geek Show does a lot of tabletop stuff. He loves painting miniatures. He asked me to print some tabletop housing things for him. And so
nice.
this is the roof of one of the houses I printed for him. And the quality is
It looks
just
almost like it's been formed.
so much
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
than anything
That
I
almost
played
look-
with before.
That looks like it's been cast.
I
I
mean,
was gonna
even,
say on the camera, I would never have known that's 3D printed.
it even does the little lattices, the lattice work on
The
the windows.
That's cool.
So you look in here, it prints. That's all. That's the fireplace with like a couple of loaves of bread in the fire, and the freaking door for the oven. And you go around here, the brickwork, the stonework on the side, it's all there, and it looks fantastic. You go look inside, and because this is a bakery, there's a shelf with a bunch of donuts and stuff
On
on
the
it.
and the uneven
Nice.
floor tiles and everything. They look
Let
great.
me get a little more light here so you can see it. Oh, there we go.
What was the setup like and configuration and like it actually like time from you got it out of the box to like printing quality?
So you can see right there. There's cakes, donuts, rolls. It's
incredible.
all.
So
It's
good.
it's amazing. I
So
love
good.
this thing.
You're
Now,
as cool as Henry Cavill now. I bet he prints his own 3D figures too for Warhammer.
It probably does. So time from let me get out of the full screen here. That's enough of me. Open the box to printing, 45 minutes.
And you like it was quality non
Yep.
crap. Like
Yep.
it was good.
Now, that being said, afterwards, after I did a few test prints, I went in and did a little bit of adjusting and things like that to fine tune. And then it also will depend greatly on the quality of the STL or the slicer. So, like, oh, my camera's like
Right.
super goofy now because I did all the
Yeah, because I
shining
remember
the light
last
on
time
it.
with your last one, it took you a long time to start printing quality stuff, and like you had to
Yeah.
call in Uncle Squinky for help, and like
Did
it wasn't user friendly.
It
Did
just
Squink?
was not.
Did you talk Squink into getting one of these, or did he talk?
He's
you
the one
into
that talked me
Yeah, I
into
was
getting
gonna
one.
say this sounds like something you would
Yeah.
find.
And so I did have an issue early on, not early on, a couple weeks after I started playing with it that and was my fault. Make sure you follow the directions on the lid when it says when printing PLA, leave the lid open on the top because otherwise your nozzle gets heat creep and it just totally jams up the filament in there. And so I had that happen, and I was not careful or slow when I was taking apart the print head, so I broke a few pieces and had to order replacement parts. But ordered the
it was
replacement
your
parts.
fault.
It was. Eventually, I found out it was because I reproduced the problem accidentally, and I was
You
like, "Wait a
blamed
minute!"
the company.
I thought it was bad filament, but it worked out. Also, shout out to Ender. Their filament is good, and they have very good customer service.
Nice.
So anyway, what did I say? Ender? No, not Ender.
Reality.
No, it's
What
not.
you meant.
No, what was the company that I bought that filament from? Anyway, I can't remember now because Ender is the name of the Elegoo. That's what it was. Elegoo filament is good. So anyway, long story long, it's awesome. Once I got it put back together and calibrated again, and that's another thing. You don't have to do anything to really calibrate this other than make sure you went through the setup process so you remove any of the extra shipping screws, and then after that's done, you hit the calibrate button, and it does everything else for you.
Totally worth it. How much on sale did you get it for?
I got it for $720.
So like 20% off.
Yeah, somewhere around there. But you can get the K1 or the K1C for a lot cheaper. I went with the Max because it had a bigger print volume, larger print volume
Area. Right.
But there's quite a few competitors out there that do similar style printers. Bamboo has a couple of models and whatnot. But this model, this review is specifically for the K1 Max. And once I followed the directions on the enclosure recommendations, then I haven't had an issue since then, and it has just continually printed fast quality prints.
What's your rating?
I use Orca Slicer as the STL slicer for setting up the G code for the prints, and it's been fantastic. Orca is it's based off Prusa Slicer, I think, and it's an open source, like, community developed slicer, and they already have set up loads for the different K1 series. You just choose K1 Max, and it has all the specs dialed in for you automatically.
Nice.
That is super
So anyway,
nice.
I honestly I can't give this anything less than a 9 out of 10 because once
What at full price? What about at full price? Would you drop it?
at full price, I would say it's still worth
Nine
a 9 out of 10 minimum because when you follow the directions, you use it like it's supposed to be used, and it has been just a joy to work with.
Because I feel like that's one of the things that the 3D printing world suffers from is experience. Like you have to be really into tweaking.
Yep.
Like the barrier, like the technical barrier for entry is high.
It
So
was.
it sounds like this pulls a lot of that out, and it's faster
Yeah,
and better supported.
it pulls quite a bit of that out, and then it also now that being said, you can tweak to your heart's content with things on this if you want to, but if you just want to do a baseline fast decent print, I mean, you can't go wrong. It's been awesome. I'm sitting here thinking, do I need to get a second one?
You know what I need? You know what they
No,
need to
I
do?
don't. No, I don't.
They
But,
need to.
man.
They need to start. They need to start releasing like Lego sets in the printables. So it's like you don't have to buy the box of Millennium Falcon anymore. You just print it.
I mean, someday that would be cool, but the quality of the plastic and the durability of that plastic is far above anything you'll get out of a 3D printer right now.
Right.
At least not a commercial level 3D printer. So
Yeah, if you're looking for good deals on Lego, Owen, I recommend the off-brand King mold from Alibaba.
Oh, okay.
I've heard so I have not had any for myself, but I've seen sets from my friends have had.
I just
And
don't
their
wanna
quality
contaminate-
is
I don't
just
wanna
as good as Lego, if not better. It's not like the old days where you used to get like the Mega Block sets that
Yeah.
are not mixed with the Lego sets. And you're like,
Exactly.
no!
That's
These
what
ones,
I'm afraid of, contamination.
These ones are Lego quality, and I would recommend them.
But will they work with Lego?
Yes, they will.
Oh, okay, because that's the thing. Like Mega Blocks, they slightly changed the hole placement so that you would be like, this doesn't fit. And so there was contamination of your Lego sets.
Nope.
My
King
kids would
Mold
mix them all
is
together.
a 1000% ripoff of Lego out of China. That's really good. And not only that, but because they're out of China, they just use whatever the crap IP they want and just go crazy. So there's a lot of good
Awesome.
IP there too.
So you can like build anything. They're like, we don't have to pay anybody anything.
They have all kinds of really cool Star
This
Wars
is-
sets that are Lego, that are not Lego endorsed or Star Wars brand. I mean, they're ripoffs,
They're like,
but they're
this
branded
is-
as Star Wars.
This is Ron Weaselton.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, that's a complete side note there on Lego stuff.
So
All right, so we are coming up here on time. Let's wrap things up. One more thing we need to talk about that is a little time sensitive is the Rivian will show off the R2.
oh, that's really all that we need to mention is
Oh, there you go.
on the 7th, so 2 days from now.
I thought these guys were
Rivian's-
declaring bankruptcy.
No, Rivian isn't declaring bankruptcy.
They lose money on every vehicle they sell.
okay.
I was gonna say yet, but it might happen. Who knows? Because they need to get their house in order as far as making money on their stuff. But they put out a pretty good product, at least so far. So the R2 is their smaller SUV, maybe like crossover level. It's supposed to be less expensive and smaller, but still have a lot of the same goodies and whatnot of the bigger, more expensive ones. So we'll report on that next week when they show off everything.
Yep.
Excellent.
All right. I just want to make sure we touched on it because, it looked time sensitive. That's all. So, yeah, that's our show. We're going to, thank our Patreon listeners. If you are a Patreon listener, we thank you. If you are, you get a bunch of really cool, awesome perks, such as the private Discord channel. You get the in-between show, which is my favorite perk. And if you pay $6 or more, you get a shout out on the air. That's you, Jaron.
Okay. Shout out to David Broshinsky, Connor Keesaw, and Woofaball Tony. They are our ultra special tech daddies. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jason Eatman, I think that's new. Welcome. Keonda Cardinal, Control the Future, Not the Show. Andy Bird, Be the 8-year-old. Tony, the Home Theater Geek. What? I
That's
wanna be
not
the
me.
home
He
theater
started
geek.
last. He came on last week.
Oh, he's not calling you a home theater
No,
geek.
no,
His
that's
name
is
that's
Tony.
his name. Yeah.
Okay, that is acceptable. All right. Travis Johnson, buy Geekshow Arcade Helpdesk stickers at Pieman Graphics on Etsy. All proceeds go to Lee George Cade's medical bills. Jeremy, No Name, No Color. Kesslo, Eric Steinman, Eric Cruz. Owen has tech cred. Then some random
10.
number.
Yeah.
Plus
What is the number?
5.5.
Okay. Sweet.
5.5.
Matt Nelson, Harry Patch, Adam, Aaron Faulkner, Stuart Lloyd. History is there for you to learn from or repeat. Your choice, Ryan M. and Adam Hecht. Thank you.
All right.
I learned from it and repeat it.
Yeah.
take
So
that,
thank you, dear listener, for making it this far in the show. If you have been to the show, personally, I thank you. And to take us out, Lando has got you right here. Sure do, Lando. Thanks.
I wanted to do it.
Go ahead, Jaron.
You got one?
Oh, really?
Jared?
It's
Yeah.
in the channel, bro.
All right. Need someone's help? Don't solve it yourself. Just scream at them louder. Be an end user.